Caitlin Clark arrived in the WNBA not as a typical rookie, but as an ecosystem unto herself, a marketing engine, a media magnet, a growth lever. From the moment she declared for the draft, the narrative was clear. The league needed her more than she needed the league. Clark's rise began at Iowa, where she shattered scoring and media records. Her college moments became national water cooler events, games that drew tens of millions of viewers and created the kind of buzz rarely seen in women's basketball. The Caitlin Clark effect became a cultural term, capturing the idea that her presence alone could elevate attendance, viewership, and interest. Before she even set foot on a WNBA court, she was already a financial force. Her NIL and endorsement deals rolled in: Nike, Wilson, State Farm, Gatorade, Bose, and more. By the time she was drafted #1 overall, she had built a brand that was already larger than the league she was joining. In the WNBA's current pay structure, Clark's rookie contract earns her around $78,000 per season, with a few additional bonuses. That's a fraction of the economic impact she creates off the court, in endorsements, merchandise, and the national media attention she brings. Her off-court earnings dwarf her league salary. The contrast highlights a growing divide between what the WNBA can pay under its collective bargaining agreement and the actual market value of a player like Clark. This has given her a level of leverage rarely seen in women's sports. The league can cap her pay, but not her power. From the start, there have been signs of tension between Clark and league leadership. One widely reported flashpoint came when WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert was alleged to have said that players like Clark should be grateful for the exposure the league provides. Players such as Napheesa Collier pushed back publicly, calling the statement tone-deaf. Engelbert denied making those remarks, but the story sparked debate about who really benefits more from this relationship, the league or its stars. Clark has since expressed support for Collier and other players, calling for stronger leadership and reform. She's also not been afraid to challenge the system directly. At one point, she publicly criticized how the WNBA pays players for winning the Commissioner's Cup, a mid-season tournament, pointing out that the prize money for that event is higher than what champions earn for winning the WNBA Finals. She jokingly called it the Cathy Cup, a jab that went viral and showed she wasn't afraid to question authority. Her second season in the league, however, was interrupted by injury. A series of soft tissue problems, a quad strain, then a groin issue, eventually sidelined her for the year after only 13 games. During those games, she averaged about 16.5 points and nearly 9 assists, numbers that kept her in the All-Star conversation despite limited action. What happened next only reinforced her value. Ratings across the WNBA dropped sharply in her absence. Games she missed saw declines of 30 to 50% in viewership. One report stated that ratings were down over 55% since her injury. When she returned for a brief stretch, viewership spiked again. Her comeback game drew nearly 3 million viewers, one of the highest numbers in WNBA history. That swing in audience interest proves a simple point. When Caitlin Clark plays, people watch. When she doesn't, they don't. Some critics argue that this level of dependence on a single player is risky, but others see it as an opportunity. Clark's impact on ratings, attendance, and merchandise sales has been compared to the early days of Michael Jordan's NBA era, a singular figure who forces the sport to evolve. But not everyone welcomes that shift. Some of the pushback Clark faces seems to go beyond competition. There are unspoken tensions, some cultural, some generational, about why she commands so much of the spotlight. Clark herself has addressed part of that conversation directly. She has acknowledged that being a white player in a predominantly black league comes with privilege, saying that the WNBA was built on the backs of black athletes and that brands need to continue investing in those players as well. That awareness doesn't erase the friction, though. Whether it's jealousy, power struggles, or deeper issues of race and representation, Clark has become a lightning rod for all of it. At the same time, the structural realities of the WNBA also play a role. The league's pay scale and contract rules are locked in by a collective bargaining agreement that limits what teams can pay, regardless of popularity. Many of the issues Clark raises about compensation and media control aren't personal, but systemic. Still, the optics are undeniable. The most famous player in women's basketball makes less than many office jobs while carrying the league's marketing on her back. All of this sets the stage for what could be a transformative moment in women's sports. The WNBA's next collective bargaining agreement will decide how future stars are compensated, how much autonomy they have, and whether players like Clark can truly share in the value they create. If the league adapts, Caitlin Clark could help lift women's basketball to new financial and cultural heights. If it resists, it risks alienating its most powerful growth engine. Caitlin Clark's story is still unfolding, but one thing is clear: she's more than a player. She's a movement, a brand, and the golden goose of the WNBA. And whether the league embraces that or not will determine its future.